What if manifestation wasn't about forcing, grinding, or toxic positivity, but about healing what's been quietly shaping your choices, relationships, and your self worth? She Manifested That is where Black women come to share the real stories behind their manifestations, the healing before the blessings, the boundaries that made space for breakthroughs, and the self trust that changed everything. So if you're ready to manifest your next level, join me, Dr. Dre Cleveland, your personal power coach, and some incredible Black women, and let our stories reflect the life you've lived and the one you're calling in. Stay tuned, sis, and grab your cup of tea, because girl, this is just another way to get your life together. This episode of She Manifested That is powered by financial advocate Chad Chambers with New York Life. Building legacy and protecting your loved ones is one of the deepest forms of self-love. Get your free consultation to help you make sure your future and your family are secure. Find the links in the show notes. Hey, sis. Welcome back to She Manifested That, the podcast where Black women come to share real stories behind the blessings, breakthroughs, and manifestations they've brought into their lives. I'm Dr. Dre Cleveland, your personal power coach, and today we are talking with my good sis, Jackie, about how she manifested her new job. So
Hey,
let's
y'all.
go.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome.
Hey. Thank you. It is great to be here as always.
As always, because you're an OG, so we go way back to junior high school times, but also you are an OG member of our sister circle and Girl Get Your Life Together, right? And we talk a lot about manifestation in our group, in our circle. So this is not lost on you for sure.
Not at all.
But before we get started, tell us a little bit about who Jackie is in 5 words.
Oh, 5 words. Okay, that's usually pretty tough. Definitely, I would say mom, advocate,
Okay.
wow. I don't know. Girl, I hate talking about myself. Okay, 3 more words. It shouldn't be that bad. It shouldn't be that bad. Okay, clown,
Okay.
introvert,
For sure.
and queen.
Hey, let's go. Let's go, Queen. All right. Well, Queen Jackie, let's talk about what you manifested, right? So tell us a little bit more about what you actually manifested.
Okay, so I gotta preface with I never realized how much I manifested in my life over the years until I really started to understand what manifestation was. So, a story, and this is the wildest time for me. So, in my current job, when I tell you divine intervention came around when it was supposed to, it truly did. So, end of 2023, I ended up being let go from a job. At that time, it was crazy because within the first 2 months of me working that job, I said that I was only given that job 2 years. I got let go 1 month after my 2-year mark.
You see how we just speak things into existence.
The reasonings for why I ended up losing that job had some of it had to do with the job itself, but it also forced me to look internally with some things. And I've got diagnosed with ADHD like 2-3 months before I actually got let go. So that opened up some other doors for me and really made me look at myself a little differently. Through that, and it's crazy because I came across other jobs and stuff like that, and they just didn't work out for one reason or another. My truck went down, so I wasn't able to get to and from work every day. There were a couple of them that came across, and it was just like, you know what, these might not be the right ones. And what's funny is that I was like, you know what, maybe a part-time job will work. Funny enough, I ended up with a part-time job in front of people again because I worked remotely for so long that I became introverted. I'm not. I will never. I came more introverted than I normally would have been.
Right.
So, getting that job was actually pretty great because, it started to make me realize that I actually did not mind being around people, and I missed it a lot. So, that was a great experience. And I was in that job for maybe about 6 months, met some really good people, but it was a great experience overall because it really got me back into myself a little bit. And funny enough, like when I want to say somewhere within that last month that I was there, I'm just like, you know what? I have to go back into a full-time job. I said, this is not going to work. Unemployment was running out. Part-time only brings in but so much money. I was like, listen, in a minute, I'm about to be tapped. This is not good.
Yeah.
Sure enough. And this is a job that I actually worked prior before. And funny enough, there's two guys that I worked with. I like to call them my beer buddies because they are. And they this is not the first time they reached out to me, but this time when they reached out to me, they were like, hey, just so you know, a position's getting ready to open up next week. Da 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 da. I was like, oh, your timing couldn't be perfect.
Of
I said,
course.
I'm ready to go back into a full-time job now. So as crazy as it may sound to some of the old members on the team, I said, I'm ready to come back. They were like, wait, are you serious? I was like, yes, I'm actually serious for real this time. So like the divine intervention of coming in was amazing because my manager actually used to be a team member at the time. So it's
Mm-hmm.
one of those where it's just like you already know it's a done deal. And what's
Yeah.
crazy is that I had interviewed at three different places. No, three or four. Was it four? No, three different places. And I got offers at all three.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, I took for several different reasons. One, I knew what job I was walking into.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it was a fully remote job.
That part.
So I didn't mind. So, it was sad for me not to be able to see people every day again, but, I liked working remote. It just worked in my favor.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like one of usually the top three reasons you go to a job, money.
That part. That part.
I'm still in that job now. I have been back here almost a year and a half now.
Gotcha. Time
So
flies. Did not even
tell me about
realize.
it. And it's like I've made strides quickly. And it was, and seeing that I had already done the job before and stuff like that, it's kind of great that I was able to just step back into the role and get back to business as usual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But also in being here, I'm just like, I'm ready kind of for the next phase. And it's funny because one of my same beer buddies, he ended up moving to another group that I had been dying to get into when I was worked this job the first time. And I'm already on the manager's radar. It's just a matter of time before something else opens up there. But I know it will only come when it's supposed to come.
Yeah.
So
100%.
in the meantime, I'm like, you know what? I need to make some extra money in the meantime. So I went back to something I had actually started, little 1099 thing
Mm-hmm.
back in the end of 2023 after I had initially lost that other job. And things are like, when I tell you things are starting to come into play, because like I needed a separate laptop from my personal laptop. I was like, yo, I can't afford to spend, XYZ amount of money. I was like, you know what? If I'm at least lucky enough to find it for like half that, all right, it'll work.
Yeah.
Sure enough, a week after me saying that,
Yeah.
I got exactly what I was looking for half
Yes.
for the amount that I said I was willing to pay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know how that works. Side note, before you say anything else, I need to go back
Mm-hmm.
because I'm noticing in this whole story how easy these things are kind of falling into place. Like I don't hear any friction. I don't hear any like hardship in terms of how the
Mm-hmm.
thing just kind of landed, right? And we know that's how it works. Like when you are in the
Yep.
flow, right? When
Yes.
you are aligned,
Yes.
things happen easily, almost without you doing anything,
Right.
right? So it makes me curious, like what shifted for you? Because I remember, like I know this story because we're friends, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
I was there throughout the whole thing of all of this, like the original letting go versus the
Mm-hmm.
part in between where, there wasn't a full-time job happening, all of that. right?
Mhm.
So what shifted for you? And I mean, like internally, like where did you notice the shift that got you in alignment
Mhm.
that after that point, I'm getting offers. I fall right back into this job that, all you did was kind of like randomly say, I'm looking for, or he randomly said that and nobody, right? That you're drinking beer. Like, why is that even part
Mhm.
of the conversation? Like that kind of thing. Right. Like, so what was the shift for you that you think helped open up the door for this?
Honestly, the number one thing that I've realized is that the more that I stress about a situation,
Mm-hmm.
the left it goes. So the most that the number one thing that I learned how to do in each one of those scenarios is just like, just put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you could kind of say, give it to God, because
Yeah.
whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So, I just put it out there. I just didn't stress about it. I'm just like, however it's going to play out is going to play. And,
Mhm.
I will, I will walk the journey,
Yeah.
however it's going to happen.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Because people don't like that is surrender,
Hmm.
right? And I think people in general, especially us Black women, because we hold on to a lot. So we
Hmm.
kind of by default tend to hold stress because we're the ones that have to be the orchestrators of all the things. So there's always
Hmm.
the what if this, or we got to make sure we have this, or we got to do, right? Like there's always
Hmm.
this doing, and having to be in control of
Hmm.
a lot. And we negate the power of letting go and surrendering.
Hmm.
And I can't tell you, and I'm sure I could tell you because you know yourself, and just being part of Sister Circle too, right?
Hmm.
The stories that we share with each other about what happens when you finally decide to say, "All right, I'm letting go of it." That means inside your nervous system, that stress is releasing. Inside your mind, that stress is releasing. And on a spiritual level, what that's doing is giving space to let in what you have been calling for. Because the other thing is, too, I think we don't realize that we don't always have to be saying out loud what we want.
Hmm.
The universe, God, hears what we're saying with our heart. So when
That's
your
so true.
bills are low, you don't have enough money, whatever the case is, the asking, even without you saying it, is saying, God, I need I need multiplication. I need supply, right? Not even that I need it, but that's what I'm calling in. And
Right.
then God is like, "Hey, I I got that. I got you on that. I'm with it. We're right here, baggie in hand. Here's your
That's
lunch."
right.
Right? But what we do is hold on to all of the stress, all of the what ifs, all of the I don't have, all the things that block that from actively coming straight into our lives. And then
Right.
what you're sharing is as soon as I decide to say, let me let go of all of that, right? And when your
Mhm.
hands are open, you can receive,
That's right.
right? Otherwise, God, the universe is like, I got the bag in hand. Where I'm gonna put it.
That part right there. And like I said, like everything, and it's like I said, until I understood manifestation, I never realized how much of my life I was manifesting things without actually knowing that's what was happening.
Hmm.
I'm thinking it's just good luck or,
Yeah.
the luck of the draw. But it seems like, whenever I found myself in the type of situations that I needed to be in without expectation,
Hmm.
things appeared.
Yep. Yep. 100%. 100%.
Now the biggest thing about manifestation though is that you can ask for things, but also understand that it may not come in the way you want either.
That part. That part. Yep, 100%. And that's a big thing, right? But that's part of the surrendering, right? Like our job is not
Right.
to know how something is going to happen,
Right.
right? Our job is to hold the vision
Right.
of what we want, right? Like even in the Bible says, right, like my children perish, right, without vision,
Right.
right? That's your only job. That's the job. You got
Yep.
one job,
That's
right?
it.
Right? It's to hold the vision and be in alignment with the vision. right? And then you let the powers that be do what the powers that be do,
Yep.
right? That is so hard for people, right? Even people who are super spiritual, even people
Yes.
who go to church every single week,
Yes.
right? There's still
Yes.
this thing about not letting God or the universe do what needs to be done because we're so trained to have to do all the things, right? And make everything happen. So it can get lost on us that they're like, you don't always have to do that, right? And what you're saying, or what you were saying before that, which is really the most important part, right? Like, we don't realize we're always manifesting.
Yes.
Right. We can't not manifest. That's our birthright,
Mm-hmm.
right? As people made in the image of the creator, right? The
That's right.
creator creates, so by default we create. We cannot help but to create what we're creating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when there's ease, where there's surrender, where there's no friction,
Right.
things come easily. So you're not thinking like, oh yeah, I just manifest. You're like, that's just how life is going. Right?
Right.
You always run up on it when there's the things where it's like, oh, I have investment in this, right?
Right.
On a mundane physical level. So I'm bringing stress to this. I'm bringing worry to this. I'm bringing
Right.
all these things that now block what it is that I'm trying to create,
Yep.
right? And the moment you say I'm not doing that no more, just like you kind of do with regular stuff that you don't really care
Yep.
about,
Yep.
right? You get the same result, right? So, one thing that I did want to ask you, because I feel like that's the space that we're in right now, because you are
Right.
already sharing some of the lessons that I think that are important
Right.
for women to hold on to. But I'm curious for you, like, what's the main thing you want them to take away from this story, or what lesson you want them to learn, especially as they're thinking about like things that they do want to intentionally call into their lives.
Regulating your nervous system plays a huge part in this. And I know you talked about it a little earlier. And, in those times that I manifested, like I was able to regulate my nervous system because the
Hmm.
less anxiety I felt about certain things, like it just came.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we're at that stage in age because I got to bring this up too.
That part.
We're going through perimenopause, menopause, so I know it's a little bit harder.
Child.
All I'm gonna say is go talk to your doctors because there is something that somebody can do. Because even given all of the things that have been happening to me as of late, the last couple of months, once I decided to, once my doctor worked with me, I should say,
Hmm.
and got me on the right um hormones to kind of help regulate myself, it makes it so much easier to really be able to live in purpose,
Mm.
not live in chaos. So
Yeah.
with that, the manifestations have been just flowing. It's like, okay, I need this. All right, I found this, but all right, you know what? Let me give it a little bit. Let me see what shakes out of the trees.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Shakes out the tree. Just what's coming out? What
Yeah,
comes down the pipe?
coming out. And it's like, the most and like I said, the most that I can do, or most anyone can do, you just put it out there. Make sure you don't try to control the situation.
Hmm.
Make sure your nervous system is regulated, and you'll be surprised what starts to come true for you.
Hmm. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. And that's a big part of what we are teaching in the Black Girls Manifest experience, right? So part of our program is the embodiment lab, right? And we call it that because that's the place where we come to practice embodying the woman who can hold the manifestations that we're asking for. And that's what you're talking about, right? Like, I can't
Yeah.
even, you know, I don't have the wherewithal to grab and hold whatever God is giving me,
Right.
right? Whatever the universe is giving me, if I can't even regulate myself, right?
Right.
Or I can't even align myself with the things that we say that we want. So every month, we're working on practices or different visualizations or rituals or
Hmm.
things that we can do to make sure that we are doing that alignment work, right, consistently as we practice stepping into who we're becoming for whatever our next level is, like whether it's a new job, whether it's a healthy relationship, whether it's just, whatever living my best next level of my life is, right? Like that requires a new woman who may not currently be activated, right? Because we're always blocking things, right? So it's easy, to talk about it here and say, oh yeah, I just let it go. Some of us have to do that under duress because it's just gotten so bad.
Listen, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been in those situations where, even the manifestation, like I'm sitting here manifesting people who ain't got no business being there. But it's only I was being impatient about certain things and not being in alignment. And then the minute I was like, oh, well, you know what? Maybe it won't be so bad. I got into those. I was like, oh no, this is why we never went this route in the first place. Damn it. It's like, who told me to do this? And that's when I tell you, it becomes a whole lesson learned. It's like, we won't be doing that anymore. Nope.
Right. Can't and won't, right? But that's what I mean, right? That's part of that identity work, because when you're saying what you're saying, right, that's usually what's there for all of us, because there's that part of us that's still operating in our past and what we used to do back then. So then we keep bringing those things, like you said, like, oh, thought I wasn't going to do that because I'm still bringing old me into the picture, right? So until I do like intentional work on who this woman is that doesn't even allow that, like you said, queen energy.
Yes.
My queendom would never. Then you stop it at the door. It doesn't even happen anymore, right? Not because God, like that part, you don't even need the spiritual part for that. You need, this is just who I'm saying I'm being in the world. And now, once the universe get the memo and be like, oh yeah, she doesn't really want this anymore. She's not even calling it in, right? It will stop happening, right? But anyways, again, we can go on and on because
we can.
Right. This is just what it's about. Right. But those are the things that we talk about a lot in the program. Right. And we want to give women also the opportunity to go download the manifestation readiness check at amireadytomanifest.com, because it's a quick and powerful way to see what's standing between you and the life you're calling in. Because if Jackie could manifest that, so can you. And remember that your desires are real, your healing is valid, and the next level is already calling your name. So, baby, let's not waste any time. Go get that check at amireadytomanifest.com. And Jackie, tell us where we can find you on the socials.
Oh, my IG is Diamond Reigns, and instead of an E, it's a 3.
Okay.
All one word. So you are welcome to come join me in my little world. Yes, you will see a bunch of random things on my page, but you get to know the things that I like, the things that I'm into, what I'm looking to share. And I'm always open to having those open conversations. I love deep conversations with people.
Indeed. Which is why we love our sister circle.
That's right.
Well, yes. Well, thank you for being here, Jackie. You are always welcome. And until next time, keep believing, keep becoming, and keep manifesting.
Thank you, sis. And ladies and gentlemen, we hope to see you soon.
See you soon. Ciao.
Hey, sis, don't go just yet. I want to share something really special with you. Black Girls Manifest is a book and an experience that I created for Black women ready to heal, remember who they are, and manifest from alignment, not struggle. If that's you, visit getblackgirlsmanifest.com and take your next aligned step.